Hello, and welcome back to another FPL video. Today, I'm going to showcase to you my final draft for Gameweek 1 of the upcoming 2024-2025 season. My team will still go some changes until the deadline on Friday, but this is going to be the template that I go from. This draft is pretty solid, and I have some options that are not moving out of the site, but others I had to change because some different information and some different strategies coming at the last time possible. I'm going to go through all of my picks one by one, and I'm going to explain why I'm selecting that player and why he's ahead of the rest of the guys. I will then compare my two drafts and tell you which I found better, and I'll hear your thoughts about it as well if you put them down in the comment section. If you enjoy such type of videos, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. All your help is very much appreciated. I'll be holding several streams during the launch week, so come and join and play. Now, starting in the goalkeepers department, I'm going with Henderson. I'm not making a change there. Henderson is having some good fixtures to start with. Brentford, Leicester, Everton, Forest. Those games feel like a high possibility of a clean sheet. Others like West Ham, Chelsea, and United feel a little bit more hesitant. But still, there is a possibility. Their team has improved massively since Glasner took over. So I believe that Henderson is the right choice to do it. You're going to say there is Johnston yet, and that's true, but he just filed for a transfer request, so that will mean that he will be most probably not starting the season in goal, and Henderson will be the number one. For my second goalkeeper, I'm going to get him out of the way, and I'm not going for someone that is playing because we don't have a 4.0 playing keeper, and I don't want to take a keeper that is playing because I don't want to rotate, and if there is a 4.0 option I would go for it, but by the looks of it it's going to be just a placeholder. I'm going for Riversen. It doesn't matter who you go for, just a player that is not going to take a lot of space in your side. So realistically I should go for Ward because if he's too highly owned. So yeah, I'm going for Riversen. If something happens to their starting goalkeeper, Ward or Iversen will come and go, but I don't feel like going for such a keeper either way. So yeah, I'm picking a Leicester player because I don't want to own currently any of their players around the field. So it's going to be costing me not a lot of spaces in the team because we have 3 places from each team that we can go for. And if I go, for example, for the third keeper from Crystal Palace, I would limit my Crystal Palace options, and I do not want to do that. Now, let's move to defense. The first guy that I'm going to pick is Pedro Porro. This guy has the most amazing attacking potential in the league for that price, in my opinion. 5.5, quite brilliant. He finished the season strong last time around, and I believe that he will hit the ground running once again. Leicester in the first week, I would heavily target teams that are facing Leicester in the first several because Leicester are not in good condition. I'm deliberating should I go for 4 of the teams that are they facing: Spurs, Fulham, Villa, and Palace, but I might be a little bit hesitant there. We'll talk about it in the end, but yeah, starting against Leicester, then against Everton. If he's going for a clean sheet, that's going to be the game. Not looking very likely, but I still believe that he can do bits and he can improve as a team with Spurs and team as a whole for the Spurs clean sheet record. Next up in defense is going to be none other than Mikulenko. Here you see a change from my lineup before. I'm not opting for Gvardiol because I didn't like how he played against Manchester United. The positioning wasn't there. He wasn't utilized as expected. So 6 million to do that, I don't think so. I wanted to reinvest the money that I got from him up front. So you'll see in a minute. But for now, Mikulenko is the guy that is going to take his spot. Brighton, Bournemouth, then you have Leicester, you have Ipswich, so you have pretty comfortable games coming. You can play them against probably any team as they can surprise anyone. But Brighton at home first week, then Bournemouth in the third. He is in a high contention to start every game there. Everton, quite a solid defense. Brentwaite hasn't played yet, and Coleman got out with an injury for their latest friendly. But Tarkovsky, the new guy, O'Brien, Pickford is there. Ashley Young can cover the right back position. There is Patterson and Mikulenko. is pretty solid on the left. He was doing quite well before the injury, so I believe that he will get back up to speed and he will be a good addition to the side. The final starter for game week 1 is going to be Howe from Southampton. I haven't been a huge fan of Howe so far, but by the looks of it, he's starting against Southampton, Bournemouth, Wolves, even Fulham. I'm going to play him, then Everton. So a lot of teams facing Everton defensively from my starting players, so that's a good thing. I feel like everyone that's facing Everton has a very high chance of keeping a clean sheet. They are not very popular with their good defensive record. After game week 7, he can stay on the bench, he can get rotated, he can do all of those stuff, but for now, Southampton, Bournemouth and Wolves in the first 4, it's a pretty good start. After that, he may get rotation in the side. I may need to transfer him out, but that's for us to decide later on in the season. But he is going to start. I don't mind if he's being benched because of the next player that I'm going to go for, and that is going to be Robinson. He remains from my previous draft, so the defender there is repeating. Game week 1, a harsh fixture against United away, but then Leicester, then Ipswich, then West Ham. Yeah, West Ham are scoring, but we don't know how much. Forest there, maybe, and Everton in 9. So a pretty solid fixture run for Fulham. And if they are to gather some points, that is going to be the best spot to do so. I'm not quite sure when I'm going to offload Robinson, but for now he remains a very important part of my team and I'm willing to keep him for a very, very long time, most probably until my wildcard. The final piece here is going to be Johnson. I know that I'm missing on Barco, but I feel like Barco is a rotation risk. I know that he started the last friendly, but Estupinian is coming sometime around and I may need my 5th defender, even though that is Ipswich. Today, at the time of recording, Ipswich played their last friendly and Johnson stayed for the full 90 minutes and I don't think he is being benched by anyone and they play with 3 at the back and 2 wing backs, so I expect Johnson and Leif Davis to performed really well. When Johnson was utilized at West Ham as a right wing back, he was doing so well. So I feel like even though it's a weaker side for 4.0, you cannot ask for very much. And he is only 2% owned, so his price is most probably not going to drop rapidly if something happens. So that's why I'm going with him compared to Barco, whose percentages are 15 and Harwood Bellis, who is 13% owned. I believe that those drops can cost us dearly, and going with players that are not too popular is a good thing in my opinion for those positions that you're not going to heavily rely on. Now we're jumping into midfield, and as you can see, we have a lot of money yet to be spent because we went quite cheap in the defensive department. Just like last season, I went with a similar state of the fixture, so I'm quite happy with the result. There is an option to go for Villa, Palace and Fulham / Everton, but I believe that with those 5 defenders I can get a pretty good run of fixtures. Let's showcase it to you. So game week 2 I will replace Mikulenko and I will play Robinson. It's alright. Game week 3 I can rely on Pedro honestly and I will just keep Mikulenko into the side. Ho can play as well, so yeah, it's a decision there to be made depending on who plays better. Next up in game week 4 I have options. So this is how the team is going to look. Maybe Mikulenko can stay if you are not performing. And then from game week 5 onwards, it's a clean run for my defenders. So we have a lot of possibilities. But game week 1 is strong, game week 2 is strong, game week 3 is particularly strong. In my opinion, game week 4 looks a little bit shaky because I have to rely on Johnson and Howe, but I may have done some transfers by that time. So yeah, let's not get ahead of ourselves. First 3 weeks is my target, as then it's an international break and all gets shaken up as usual. So attack the first 3 fixtures and then concentrate on the rest with transfers that I'm most probably going to store at least for 1 week. So game week 2, don't expect too many transfer movements from me apart from any crucial injuries. Game week 2 most probably will remain silent as well. Game week 3, after I'm going to use the transfers to maybe adjust the squad a little bit. Now let's jump into midfield, and I'm not going to lie, Mo Salah is returning into the squad. He is going to be my captain for game week 1. We haven't seen Liverpool's friendly yet, that is the latest friendly, but I believe that Salah is playing, and let's not get fool ourselves. He's going to perform really well to start the season. Ipswich, Brentford, and Forest in the first four. United, even though it's away from home, I don't see it such as a non-scoring fixture, so Salah gets the nod there. Next up is a player that hasn't left any of my drafts, and that is Eze. We haven't seen him in preseason yet, but I don't care honestly about that. He's coming back. There is no one better in that side compared to him, so he's going to be playing. Brentford, West Ham, and Leicester, and Chelsea, even who are not too sound defensively. I believe that Eze can do very well. I know that he is 33% owned, which is a lot. Salah is 36, so heavily owned midfielders. But yeah, it's good to go strong there and to continue improving the site. So far the team has been the same. A player that has surprised me a lot during preseason is Morgan Rogers. I remember him last season when he did pretty well at some point before he got an injury, and now I believe he is a starter. He hasn't missed a friendly. He has started everything. He has been vocal. He has scored goals. He has been doing well, and I believe that he is the reason why they left Diaby go so easily. Like Morgan Rogers is going to be a special player in my opinion. I know that the first four are not the most amazing fixtures, like West Ham and Leicester away from home, but on the counter this guy is fast. Like the easier fixtures are away, but that is 5 million. I'm not spending anything too much on that, so I can live with 5 million player not performing too well. If someone emerges else at that price range or a little bit more expensive, I can easily get him with the movements that I'm going to showcase to you in a second. The final midfielder that I'm going to add, you most probably guessed it by the thumbnail, it's Bukayo Saka. He is entering my draft for the first time, and I haven't touched a draft with him, but as my strategy is to go for the first 3 weeks as per usual, because no, my strategy is to go for the first period of time before the first international break. After that, it's a completely new game because some teams got more time together, others got a rest, others got tired, some injuries appear, changes happen. Like last season, the form of the players changed drastically after the first international break, so pinpointing the best players going forward is going to be key. But for the first three, they have two home fixtures and away to Aston Villa, who haven't been too sound defensively yet. So I believe there is a possibility for Saka to score in all three of the games. He's their penalty taker. He's one of their, if not the best player they own, and I don't see them starting without him, especially at the Emirates. 70 to 80 minutes will be the first game, but I'm more than happy with that time as he can destroy teams in less time. Like they played Leverkusen and the counter press was amazing. 4 goals were scored too quickly, and I believe Saka is going to be heavily involved in the goal scoring at Emirates. Now, moving into my last midfielder, it's going to be a 4.5 option, and that option is Sangare. There is Wings. I'm going to showcase him to you, but he's 12% owned. If we start at a 3-4-3 and then we decide to move to a 3-5-2, guess who is going to be sold? The 4.5 midfielder. So Harry Winks is going to be heavily sold at some point during the next couple of weeks. So I'm going to not take the price drop from a Leicester player. The other option is Bergvall, but today Solanke joined Spurs. They have Son, they have Pedro Porro, they have some solid midfielders, and I feel like I might be owning at least at some point 3 Spurs players. So owning a 4.5 player, thinking about where I should offload him is not on my wish list. So I'm keeping Bergvall out of the side for now. Sangare, a Forest player, he has been injured and ill for the very long duration of last season, but now he's back. He's back into the lineup and he scored 2 goals in the friendlies. He's a holding DM, so nothing too special, but 1.6% owned. It's nothing compared to the 14. Yes, he might still drop in price, but it's not going to be that significant. And yeah, a Forest bench player is not the end of the world, if I have to be honest. Going into the forward line, here I'm not surprising anyone with going with Haaland. Thankfully, he didn't perform too well against United in the Community Shield. I was very much relying on that, as 2 seasons ago, when they lost against Liverpool, he didn't do too well as well. And then the guys preferred Kane over Haaland. And then in the first week he scored 2, in the second he scored something, then a hat-trick, and everyone that didn't went with Haaland was so far behind. I know now the prices are different, and that's why exactly I'm going for him, because imagine if I pick Watkins, who hasn't played any minutes so far. The next option for the forward position is going to be Isaac, who, I'm not going to lie, I'm picking him, but I don't want to sell him. So the next option for the forward position is Havertz. He is 7 million away from Haaland. If I want to pick Haaland from my current squad, if I don't go with him, let's say I'll have to sell Salah or use two transfers, because if I sell Salah, I'll have to go to 5 to 5.5 in order to catch up those 7. Even if I have to catch up only 6 from Watkins, Watkins fixture run after game week 2 is amazing, and I'm not going to be willing to sell out Watkins. I'll be looking away to bringing him in, so that's not going to be the best option to go for. And let's say I have Palmer. If I want to get 6 million, I need to drop down to a 4.5. So I have to say 2 players, maybe a defender if I get Trent or Saliba, but that's not ideal because they might be returning and they might be keeping. So getting Haaland is either going to be destroying my team, using my wildcard, or taking several hits, and that's not a very good plan. That way, I'm starting with him. Like, if a defender pops up at 6 million, I'm not too worried because it's a defender and their points rely too much on clean sheets and on shots and on several things, as the new bonus point system does not complement them a lot, while the players that take shots are going to be complemented. When Foden returns into the selection process, I'm going to go for Foden most probably over Haaland. But for the first 3 to 4 fixtures, I'm seeing myself sticking with Haaland. Then I can replace him for Watkins, and then I go Rodgers for Foden, and I still have 1 million in the bank, 1.5 if I don't account any price rises or price drops. So yeah, why I shouldn't be doing that? Like, I don't see myself not going with Haaland. Maybe selling him after some point, maybe selling someone else. We'll see. But the truth is, for game week 3, I don't see myself selling any of those players, bar any serious injuries. The last player that is going to make the lineup is going to be Chris Wood. And here comes the big dilemma. Should I stick with Chris Wood, who faces Bournemouth and Wolves at home, at Southampton away, which is a good fixture run? Then it's 2 away fixtures, but it's after game week 3, so let's focus on the first 3 weeks. The other option here to go for is Muniz. He is 7.6, while Wood is 5% owned, so not such a big difference. United, Leicester, and Ipswich, so the first 3 are good for him, but I expect Muniz to perform worse than Wood. Like, Forest have been scoring some goals and taking some chances, while with Fulham it's a little bit harsh. The other option here is to switch to a 3-5-2 and go for a player of the status of Smith Rowe, but it's not for me because I might need to replace Wood with Joao Pedro. Armstrong is an option, Muniz is an option for forwards. If we go down to the 6 million range, it's Wissa, who has been interesting. Calvert-Lewin, there is an option. Muniz, he's going to be the first option. Bournemouth striker going forward. Joao Pedro is an option. Fofana and Broja are not going to be sold, but we need to see to who. If they went to a Prem team, they might become options. Edward is not going to be an option, and I honestly prefer Vardy as an option here. Armstrong, as mentioned, Warsen from Wolves, especially after game week 8. The fixture runs are going way better, and Warsen can be an option. So I want to own that cheap player. Dewap, how expensive is 5.5 for Ipswich striker? So their options at the striker position at that price range. While after 3 weeks, we need to see how someone plays and see what can we do about it and if we can afford him. I know that I will need to sell a big player like Salah, Saka, or someone like that, but that's okay, and it's okay to keep them even. Maybe an injury occurs, maybe something to the team happens, maybe Liverpool are not the team to target at all, and just Salah is gone. I take whoever I want and I replace whoever I want, honestly. So there are options, but I believe going forward, the strong options are going to be this in midfield. compared to my other draft, it's looking pretty similar. Like there are 1, 2, 3, 4 differences, which is not a lot, but those 4 differences are better in my opinion. Like I'm replacing Bailey with Rogers, which is a side transfer, so yeah, it's not that much. I'm replacing Diogo Jota with Saka, who is a penalty taker and who is the talismanic player for Arsenal. Let's not fool ourselves. I'm replacing Barco, who is not going to be most probably used after game week 3. And if I go for a game week 3 and still need to replace a Brighton defender because I picked them for game week 4 and 5, it's going to hurt me a lot, so it's not going to be a thing for me to do. And Guardio is the big omission here, but as mentioned, I didn't like how he performed in the Community Shield. He was too far back, he was too defensive. The style may have changed. I don't know. It's due to Rodri not being back there, but I'm not willing to take the risk with a 6 million defender when I can go for Saka against Wolves at home and then to Aston Villa away, a difficult fixture, but on the counter, Saka is going to be great. And we need to know that Arsenal make the statement from the beginning, and I believe that statement is going to be offensive, and I believe that I need a player from Arsenal. He's only 26% owned, which is quite low compared to the rest of the expensive players. Like if we go, Watkins is 47. Let's go to other midfielders. Palmer is 43. Son is over 11 now. Salah is 36. Even Foden is around Saka, and Foden hasn't had any training. This team can change because um, there's still few friendlies coming around, and yeah, that sums it up. A team like Palace might be a team to target. After Chelsea, I might want to go for Mateta and just sell Saka, for example, and go without Saka for a couple of games and pick Mateta and someone else to go for. Then sell Salah to bring in back Saka. So it's going to be a game of picking the best premiums this season. So let's see how it goes. Maybe Haaland becomes a staple in the side and he's not moved. I don't know. But up until game week 11, I see myself him not wanting to play him in only one, but it's still at Etihad. So yeah, it's tricky. It's tricky to go without Haaland, but Foden can appear. A lot of things can happen. So yeah, be prepared for more content during the last week of preparation. This team looks like a very close team to a hold. Maybe some rumors, maybe something will put something in the trenches, but for now it looks good. Does he? No, everyone has points, and still this team looks better on AI rating. Let's now try to hop. Let's go and rate my team. Let's see what happens. Let's see. Okay, so let's start from scratch. It's going to be, it doesn't matter who it's going to be. Let's see what's the percentage that we get. I'm not sure because I haven't seen it yet, but the FPL team prefers it more. Let's see how. So Mikulenko. Ho has been very offensive. Robinson has been very offensive. Or has been amazing. Johnson has been attacking. Mikulenko is a defensive transfer, but sometimes it's not a bad thing to own such a player. And Rogers, and the last player here is Sangare. Here it's Isaac, here it's Haaland, and here it's Chris Wood. Let's see, 91%. Not a very good rating though, compared to my last one, which was 93. This feels like a downgrade. Let's see why. Who they are suggesting to transfer out. The AI or something, but this gives me hell of a flexibility, guys. I can't lie, I'm so prepared to have that flexibility, especially after game week 3 when I will have 3 transfers most probably, and I'm not saving for sake of saving them, but still this team attacks the first fixtures. Like I own Spurs, I own Everton, I own Newcastle, I own everyone to attack. If this team is not working properly, I can wildcard even. So a lot of options. They're suggesting, I don't know what the hell they're suggesting. Maybe to take out my forest players. Okay, I see it, but yeah, I think that this draft is good. I want to hear your opinion. Thank you for staying for such a long video and explaining it. But yeah, I feel like I've done well. Yeah, game week 2 is going to be tricky, Saka and Rogers, but I think both teams can score goals, and my differential here is going to be the captain of Haaland, who is rumored to have less points than Salah in game week 3. Okay. But yeah, still options. Game week 3, then it's completely good for basically anyone apart from a little bit of the defenders. But I feel like Chelsea are not a team that is going to be doing something amazing this season with so many players, especially from the start. So yeah, thank you for staying with me so far into the video. I hope you enjoyed. Subscribe, join the channel, join my mini league down below. If you become a member, you get some extra perks. You can check them in the member section. It's if you want to support me some way, do it. Thank you all. I'll be coming back with more videos, but for now, guys, I'll be heading out. Bye.